we are here to win this election. And I am running to defeat Donald Trump. But I don't think we can survive 4 more years of Donald Trump and Pennsylvania Avenue. We've just got to get rid of him.
That was former New York City Mayor Michael Bloomberg earlier this month announcing his run for president. Joining me now is another former mayor, Manny Diaz. He is the national political co-chair for Bloomberg 2020. Mr. Mayor, thank you very much for coming in.
Good to be here. Thank you, Jim.
So why support Michael Bloomberg?
Well, I've known the man for 20 years. Worked very closely on a number of initiatives when we were both mayors, and then after I left office, he appointed me to his philanthropic board, and there I've had the opportunity to work with him for another 10 years on causes all over the world. I mean, we've actually spent $8 billion in charitable causes worldwide over that 9-10 year period. It's really a remarkable. He's really a remarkable man. So
why is he not taking his story to Iowa, New Hampshire, South Carolina, Nevada? Why is he refusing to play in the early states? Is he too good for that?
No, not at all. But if you look at the math, the first 4 states in February amount total between all of them add up to 4% of the total delegate count at the convention. When you start getting into March and April, you are now hitting 65%, close to it, in 1 month, and then another 20 or so. So you're getting close to 90%.
So he's going after the bulk, not the early.
That's right. And because he has the resources that he is able to run a national campaign from day one. Right.
He's not taking any money. He's self-financed.
Zero. No checks, which is great because all my friends return my calls when I call for him. But I mean, he's it really is remarkable. And contrast the last Democratic debate. The Democrats are in Iowa, which, by the way, will very, very likely vote for Trump anyway. So they're in Iowa having a debate. Where's Trump?
Wisconsin. Right.
Right. So I mean, that just tells you the disadvantage, because even after the convention in July, what's going to happen? You're going to have an incumbent president sitting with probably $1 billion in the bank, having visited all those states multiple times, with the Democrats only visiting the state right before their primary. And it's a huge disadvantage.
So what changed? Because in 2019, he categorically said, I'm not running.
Right.
And then 2 weeks ago, he gets in the race. What happened in that period of time?
Well, I think there were a few of us who kept pounding him and urging him to run. But I think the practical answer really is that when the numbers were beginning to reflect the fact that at that time it would either be Warren or Sanders as nominee for the party. And there was a belief among many of us that that would lead to a certain defeat in November.
So you don't believe that if Bernie Sanders or Elizabeth Warren is a Democratic nominee, that they can defeat Donald Trump?
I don't think so. If you look at particularly the states that the Democrats need to bring back, I think there would be some issues. Certainly, no one has to date of any of the other candidates caught fire. I mean, Sanders does continue. Remember, he almost beat Hillary. He came close.
Let me ask you this, though. Does it also suggest that you sense a weakness in Joe Biden's campaign? Because obviously Joe Biden is the more moderate candidate, or Amy Klobuchar, or Pete Buttigieg, but in particular Joe Biden. It would suggest that if Michael Bloomberg is getting in the race, he doesn't think Joe Biden can defeat those other candidates in the primary.
And the vice president is a great person and a great career, but if you look at his numbers, they've been fairly flat, since he is still the front runner in many polls, but with the same number that he's had for a very long time, and he doesn't seem to move from there. And that's an indication that he has sort of capped at where he is, because everybody knows who he is. There's no learning about him like you might with the Mayor Pete, who's sort of new on the scene. Everybody knows who he is, and yet he hasn't been able to get through that threshold number that he seems to hover around.
Is he sort of, I mentioned this to you earlier, he seems to be almost Michael Bloomberg, and he's Mike now. I like the more folksy image of Mike Bloomberg as the campaign.
Sure.
Is Mike now the break glass candidate in case of emergency, that if things are sliding in view of to Sanders or to Warren, that Bloomberg offers that alternative, either at the convention if nobody's able to have enough tickets on the first ballot, or maybe to even keep those Warren or Sanders from getting enough votes on the first ballot at the convention?
I do, and if you look at the latest polling numbers, they seem to now reflect Sanders leading in Iowa.
Leading in New Hampshire.
Leading in New Hampshire. New Englanders generally are going to win New Hampshire. The vice president will do well in South Carolina, as we all expect. I'm not sure about Nevada. but there won't be that kind of momentum, and that front runner status will go away. So the question becomes, can he sustain an effort? Remember, I said 64% of the delegates in March. That means that when they wake up the day after I guess Nevada or whatever, or March 1st, and look at March.
March 3rd is Super Tuesday. March 17th is the Florida primary.
Correct.
Florida's primary could actually matter this year, couldn't
Absolutely, very much so. And they're going to look at this and say, how in the world do I, in this short period of time, come up with the resources necessary, build an organization necessary to be competitive?
You just said something about build an organization. I would just want to hone in on that for a second.
Sure.
It's been reported, I believe he said, that even if he's not the nominee, he's building an organization, almost a turnkey operation of having paid staffers in many of these key states that he's visiting, that he would turn over essentially, I don't know, to the DNC or to the nominee to work to defeat Donald Trump. The main priority is to defeat Donald Trump.
Absolutely. And remember how this starts. In the 16th convention, he gets up in front of millions of people, Mike does, and says that the president is a dangerous demagogue. In 18, he puts his money where his mouth is and helps elect 21, I think, House seats, new flip 21 seats. In this year, when he wasn't running, he had set up a whole digital operation already that he was going to use on behalf of Democrats. Oh, and I forgot to mention Virginia. The flip of the legislature in Virginia was as a result.
How many people do you think he'll have in Florida? Like, how many paid and on-the-ground people will he have in Florida that will carry over, not just in the primary, but to the general election?
Oh, I would say it could be several hundred. We hope to have 20 offices open in a very short period of time.
And they don't go away if he's not the nominee.
And they don't go away. Correct.
All right,
That's the commitment.
I got to turn to us because you're the former mayor of Miami, and right now the city of Miami is what I think the technical term is a dumpster fire, where nobody on the commission gets along. Everything is chaos. The city is headed towards, I don't know where it's headed. Are you troubled by what you're seeing in the city of Miami?
I'm saddened by it. I mean, I remember. I mean, the whole reason why I ran in 2001 is because I had seen so much of that before, and I thought, if you're not working on a common vision, if you're not working as a team, it's very hard to be successful at what you do in anything, and even in a football team. And so what you need to make sure you do is you get people working together. And the troubling aspect of it is that I bleed Miami. I think many of us do. It is the brand for all of us down here. And we want to continue succeeding. We want to continue to be the great brand that we've developed over the past 20 years. That sort of fighting isn't going to get us there.
All right. Mayor Diaz, come back. We'd also love to be able to sit down with Mike at some point, as we'll now call him. He'll be my second billionaire I've interviewed. All right. We'll be right back after the break.